The Mississippi River has witnessed countless stories throughout history, but none quite as revolutionary as a young boy choosing friendship over everything his society taught him was right. Today we're exploring how Mark Twain's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn challenged an entire nation's moral compass.
That's fascinating how this river becomes almost like a character itself, serving as both a path to freedom and a mirror reflecting the complexities of American society.
You know what lights my fire about this story? The way Twain uses this unlikely pair, Huck running from an abusive father and Jim escaping slavery, completely upends our expectations. Their journey isn't just physical, it's this profound exploration of what it means to be human.
The development of their relationship challenges the social norms of that period. Here's Huck, raised with all these prejudices, gradually seeing Jim as a friend and mentor rather than property.
Jerry, that's where Twain's genius shines through Huck's eyes. This child who hasn't fully bought into society's rules, we see just how absurd and cruel these accepted practices are. It's like having this perfect outsider's perspective on everything that's wrong with civilized society.
Speaking of civilization, let's talk about those fascinating characters they meet along the river. The Duke and the King, these con men who show us the hypocrisy of the so called respectable society.
Oh man, those two are brilliant creations. They're running these elaborate scams like they're ridiculous Shakespeare performances where they butcher to be or not to be in front of entire towns. But here's what's interesting: they're less hypocritical than many of the respectable people Huck and Jim encounter.
That's such an important point about how Twain uses these characters to expose different layers of social corruption. How do you think this commentary relates to modern society?
Jerry, consider how the book's central moral crisis, Huck deciding he'd rather go to hell than betray Jim, still resonates today. We're still dealing with situations where what's legally or socially acceptable conflicts with what's morally right. Studies show that people often struggle with similar moral dilemmas when institutional rules clash with personal ethics.
JW. The way Twain uses the river as a space where standard social rules don't apply is compelling. It becomes this neutral territory where Huck and Jim can develop their friendship away from society's prejudices.
You are right, Jerry. And you know what's fascinating? Twain spent years as a riverboat pilot before writing this book. He knew firsthand how the Mississippi could be both liberating and dangerous. The river scenes are incredibly accurate, from the way he describes the fog to the constant threat of steamboats running over smaller craft.
That attention to detail brings the whole world to life. But let's talk about Tom Sawyer's role near the end. It seems to shift the tone of the story quite dramatically.
That's such a crucial point. Tom's elaborate schemes to free Jim, who we later learn has already been legally freed, represent everything Huck has grown beyond. While Tom's playing an adventure, treating Jim's freedom like a game, Huck has learned the real world consequences of moral choices.
The contrast highlights how far Huck has come in his moral development.
And here's something interesting. When Twain published this book in 1884, it was banned in many places, not for its criticism of slavery, but because people thought Huck was a bad role model for children. Imagine that. They missed the entire point about moral courage and individual conscience.
That's remarkable how the controversy around the book has evolved, while its core messages about questioning societal norms remain relevant.
You know what makes this story so timeless? The way it tackles serious issues through humor. Twain once said, "Against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand." He uses that humor to disarm readers before hitting them with these profound moral truths.
The way he balances the light and dark elements of the story is masterful. It never feels preachy, even while dealing with such serious themes.
Looking at the lasting impact of this book is fascinating how it's influenced American literature and culture. Writers from Hemingway to Toni Morrison have acknowledged its importance in shaping how we tell stories about moral growth and social justice.
That's such an important legacy. What do you think is the most valuable lesson modern readers can take from this story?
I'd say it's the courage to question inherited beliefs and trust your moral compass. When Huck chooses friendship over everything he's been taught, he's showing us that real growth often means having the bravery to go against the current, both literally and figuratively. Until next time, remember that sometimes the most important journeys are the ones that challenge everything we think we know.